I mean, they won.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, it ain't broke, don't fix it. They don't want... Oh, yeah, I figured. I was just about to mention Victor was the only reason that JM managed to stay alive that whole game. He offered wave clear. He offered damage. He was such a massive threat. Yeah. In every single team fight, it was him that was picking up all the kills, and he managed to build up a massive gold lead over Ped. And it wasn't because Ped was playing badly. It was just because of how well Loza was playing. So definitely an impressive performance coming out from Loza this game. But it does mean that the Bard is left open. I'm pretty sure that Xbyte isn't familiar with Bard. But nevertheless, I'm sure that the bot lane of XL can think of some counter towards that matchup. So we will have to see how they play that out. Meanwhile, Sivit is first picked. And as always, we saw the Vayne struggled a bit in terms of the laning phase, and Vayne wasn't really able to get much off in terms of the throughout the game, really. I mean, there were moments of glory. It did look like Vayne had a good shot, especially in one of the mid-game team fights. However, Artorias was such a massive threat on that Fizz. He was able to quickly shut her down and lock her down and take out that Vayne very quickly. Meanwhile, we do have a hover of Shen, and we do see the lock-in from Rek'Sai from Nesquik. So we talked about Nesquik being a very big fan of Rek'Sai. It is one of his favorite junglers, and he does like, except when especially when I was on the team, he would often do a level 3 flash gank mid. It was something that he and I used to do fairly often, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that coming out with Ped. However, that will largely depend on what champion Ped decides to play this game. Meanwhile, that Shen, we have to remember, it could be a flex pick. It could either be in the top lane or the support. We have already seen Shen support once today, I believe, and we might see it again here.
It was a little underwhelming, unfortunately, in that, I mean, it didn't really offer the same as some of the other supports, or at least wasn't used to the correct effect in that game. But we do see a Maokai and a Nidalee locked in. So first time we've seen these two picks today. Nidalee has been banned out a lot in that first best of 3. It was banned out every single game. It wasn't banned last game, but nobody picked it. And I mean, interestingly as well, the Shen and the Rek'Sai were over on Gaming Emotion side last time. So obviously very valuable red side picks for these two teams, the Rek'Sai and the Shen, wanting to get that global presence from the Shen and getting obviously the global presence from the Rek'Sai as well. So very powerful combo in those two, but I would certainly expect the top lane is probably going to be relatively slow, considering it's going to be Maokai versus Shen.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of a Cassiopeia hover. Oh,
we'll see. Let's not talk about it.
Yeah, let's not. Let's talk
Don't get
about.
overexcited.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Nidalee definitely going to be in the jungle for this game. If you had a look on Twitter, Synergy was actually talking to MC Hal about jungling Nidalee, and he did say, I wanted to give the guys a chance. Didn't want to bring out the Nidalee in the first game, so definitely a comfort pick for Synergy, something he seems to be fairly confident with. And with a Maokai in the top lane, definitely offers that strong protective front line to be able to protect the squishy Nidalee in the back line. So we will see how that works out.
To be fair to him, Synergy did do a very good job on that Rek'Sai last game. I mean, they got that first blood gank up in the top lane. That was down to Synergy getting that flash knock up, and as well, when we got to that late game, there was the fight in the top lane where Synergy flashed forward to get the triple knock up, followed up, of course, by a beautiful Chaos Storm from Loza. So Synergy did a really good job last game, but unfortunately, the rest of the team wasn't really able to follow up on him all of the time.
Well, you say that. They had a beautiful follow in the top lane where he got that wonderful 3-man knockup. You have to give credit where credit is due. Synergy.
Well, I don't have to.
Well, no, you don't. But I feel I need to give credit to Synergy because he did come in as a last-minute substitute, and he no longer plays for Birmingham. I don't think he's really played like in a proper team.
He played at Epic Land.
He did, but I feel like that was a bit of a fun.
He went a mishmash team.
Yeah. So,
Is Wawa Diamond yet?
First one. Yeah, that is a question on all UK players' minds. Is Wawa Diamond yet? Maybe one day we'll find out. But meanwhile, we are going to see Oh, no. Now, Veigar. Hang on, I'll get onto that into a minute, because I know all about Veigar, because I know Ped very well. But we will get onto that in a minute. I just want to run through the composition from Gaming Emotion first, because you can see quite a mixed match of champions coming out. So they do have a very strong pick composition, and the best thing about a Sivir is she works really well in pick/speed compositions, right? So what you do is you look for your enemy laners completely out of position. For say Vigar is farming in the mid lane, you pop that on the hunt. Immediately you have 5 members rushing in, you get a pick, and then you're suddenly in a 5 versus 4 scenario, and you force objectives when you have the numbers advantage. And that is exactly how you play this comp. The problem with this comp is it's very difficult to execute without a lot of practice. On paper, it might look very strong and straightforward. However, without a lot of practice and a lot of synergy, we will see how they manage to pull it off.
Well, they certainly have 1 out of 5 synergy. Let's see if the rest of them will be able to follow up on those picks, on those javelin tossers. But let's take a quick look at the lineup of XL Esports. Now, we've got Gnar in the top lane, Rek'Sai jungle, Vigar in the mid lane, and then we have Corki Shen in the bottom lane. So, how are they going to play this composition?
I don't it was going really well, and then they locked in Vigar, and I was like, okay, I have no idea how they're going to play this composition. But you can see they do have a decent teamfight comp. The thing about Vigar that he does offer. Right, now hang on, we'll come on to Vigar in a second. Well, I'm going to talk to more about more standard picks that people are familiar with. So, Gnar, very good mid-game spike, especially in terms of his kiting, because they generally go for the Frozen Mallet and the Black Cleaver build. So, he's going to have decent damage coming into the mid-game, and obviously the Mega Gnar makes him a strong threat at all points in the game. So, definitely a strong champion. And as we saw last week, Alco really had a strong matchup against Artorias when he played that Maokai. So, definitely a favorable matchup for the Gnar, and hopefully it should go in the favor of Artorias this time. Meanwhile, we do have Corki. We know how strong that Trinity Force spike is in the mid game, so they definitely have good composition for those mid game fights. Now, the thing about Vigar is the changes to his stun, and now what Riot aim to do is make it less of a stun and more of an actual cage. So now Ped, rather than try and get the at the edge stun to stun as many people as he can, he's actually going to look to get quite close and create a cage around the enemy, try and lock them up and try and make it really awkward for them to escape. So by forcing them to group up, and by, in fact, if you think of the river and he puts it slap bang in the middle of the river, now the team either has to be divided or they get funneled into one of the 2 chokes either side of the cage.
It's almost like a Gragas ultimate in that it's guaranteed to split the team. They have to get out at all costs before it turns into.
Or they group in the middle, and
exactly, which can certainly be a good thing for them. I mean, Corki offers a lot of AoE. Vigar himself, his Q is going to hit 2 targets, and obviously his W.
Yeah, of course. So on paper, that sounds fantastic. Oh, why does nobody play Vigar? Well, the reason nobody plays Vigar is because his laning phase is atrocious. He cannot clear waves at all until it gets much later into the game. His Q has it has very good scaling, but it takes a very long time to scale. And every time he gets a kill with it, it works exactly the same way as Narcissus' Siphon Strike does, and he gains stacks. But he only gains 1 stack per minion kill rather than the 3 that Susan does in fact get. So he's going to really struggle in lane against Ari, and what I actually expect is Nesquik's going to leave him alone. He's not even going to try because he doesn't want to risk putting Ped behind in that early game. Meanwhile, he's just going to try and draw pressure. He's going to ward around the mid lane and make sure that Ped is as safe as possible. So it is a risky pick in terms of the early game, but it is also very good against Ari because his ultimate does more damage depending on how much ability power your opponent has. And we can see in Italy, we can see in Ari. Oh, you want to jump on my face? Yeah, well, that's not a good idea.
You're already dead.
Yeah. So I expect huge tons of damage coming out from Ped on this Vigar, assuming he can get to that point.
I would not even be remotely surprised to see like first item Abyssal Scepters coming out across the lineup from Gaming in Motion. Going up against that Vigar is certainly a terrifying prospect at times. We'll have to see how that one pans out for them. But one pick that I am very excited for, we saw it yesterday, it's Ginseng playing the Bard. Now he worked wonders on that champion yesterday. He was able to be absolutely everywhere on the map. He was getting beautiful cosmic bindings. His magical journeys to get along the base walls and everything were just fantastic. So we'll have to see if he can keep that momentum going from yesterday and whether they can clinch this second game. Obviously, XL are 1-0 up in this best of 3. This is the last potentially the last game for Gaming Emotion. If they don't manage to pick this victory up, they are going to be knocked out of the tournament, and XL will go through to the ESL UK Premiership as our 8th team, well, technically 7th team now, I guess, but
Oh,
they will also
seventh,
win
I suppose.
£275. So we'll have to see who's going to be able to clinch this second game, whether we're going to go into a third game or whether it's just going to be the 2-0 for XL. But we are, ladies and gentlemen, heading on to Summoner's Rift for our second game of this best of 3 in our lower bracket semi-finals between XL Esports and Gaming Emotion White. And now, on the blue side of the map, let's give an introduction to our Gaming Emotion White roster. Up in the top lane, we have Chin playing that Maokai. In the jungle, we have Synergy playing the Nidalee. In the mid lane, we have the Ninetail Fox, played by Loza. And in the bottom lane, we have Sivir and Bard, going to be played by Jin Kisaragi and Ginseng.
The S is what really throws me off in Jin Kisaragi's name.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, on the red side, we do have XL Esports looking to clinch their spot in the ESL UK Premiership. In the top lane, we have Artorias playing Gentleman Gnar, looking to be as civil as possible when he jukes it out in the top lane. In the jungle, we have Nesquik playing his favorite champion, Rek'Sai. In the middle lane, we have Ped on the short and tiny midget mage. In the bottom lane, we do have Jokerism on Corki and Exabyte playing Shen. So I'm expecting an extremely exciting game. Meanwhile, if you do have a look on the stream, or that's just disappeared, you can vote for your favorite team, who you think is going to take this game, whether it be XL or Gaming in Motion. The link should be in the Twitch chat, available for you if you so wish. So get voting for your favorite team. Let us know who you think will win this game.
Well, personally, and I know I'm not meant to have favourites, but I kind of want Gaming in Motion to win, just so that we can have 3 games in this best of 3, because that first one was just so close towards the end. It was such a good game by both teams, and XL did manage to pull ahead in the end. We'll see if Gaming in Motion White have what it takes to take this to a 3-game series, or whether XL are going to be able to push them out of this tournament and eliminate them, giving them their spot in the ESL UK Premiership. Obviously, XL did have a spot last season. They managed to place 5th, as I've said about 7 times so far in this stream today. We'll see if they're going to be able to get themselves their position in this season.
Meanwhile, one thing I forgot to mention about Ped is, Veigar, sorry, is that his Q is now actually a skill shot. So it'll actually go through minions and can hit the target behind. So before it was a single target point and click, so now no longer that. Meanwhile, bottom lane has hit level 2, looking to go a little bit aggressive, but not much going to come out of that. So nice use of the level advantage from the side of XL.
Yeah, good bit of damage down, and that is going to force the health potion out of Jin Kisaragi, which can be just such a big deal in these early stages of the game. If you have no sustain, obviously Bard is going to have those Caretaker Shrines to be able to heal up his AD carry. The Spell Shield is going to block away that Shadow Dash. Exabyte going quite aggressive there. He's going to be denied as they head into a pause. I know you guys at home know that pauses are my favorite thing ever. I do love to sit and watch a grey screen rather than you know, watch League of Legends. Who even likes League of Legends?
Yeah, who does
Just
like
kidding.
League of Legends?
I like League of Legends. League of Legends happens to be my favourite game, believe it or not. There you go. Nobody else. It is my favourite game, yeah. I'm a big fan of it. To be fair, I don't play it all that often, despite it being my favourite game. I watch a lot of League of Legends. I play it a lot less than I would like to.
We talk about it a lot, that's for sure.
I do talk about it a lot. That's pretty much all I talk about. If you meet me in real life, I can be quite boring because I just want to talk about League all the time. But there you go.
Meanwhile, yeah, the pause has come out. It does look like Artorias is just lagging a wee bit. But I'm sure they'll get that resolved fairly quickly. Meanwhile, while we have this pause, it gives me more chance to talk about Veigar. I'm sure I bored you all to death with the amount that I have talked about Veigar, but it is a fun champ. It does scale very well into the mid and late game, and the moment Ped hits level 6, you'd think that he would be a terror for Ari, but he's still incredibly weak. I don't expect Ped to really be looking to make any plays until that until around the level 11, level 13 mark, when he has a few extra points in his abilities and he has a few items under his belt. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane,
Nesquik is coming in. Ginseng is on that front line with a Shadow Dash. thread the needle there by Exabyte. Just misses both of them. So a little bit of a misplay in that bottom lane. Not going to be able to secure the gank for Nesquik.
It doesn't look like that, but we shall see how it goes. They do have the lane advantage now. They have to push up very far if they want to be able to farm. So nice zoning from XL in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, we do see Synergy moving to the top.
We certainly do. He's going to be looking for the gank onto Artorias, who immediately sees him with that tower vision and just going to do the loop and get back into that top lane, narrowly dodging that spear or the javelin toss and heading back into that top lane. So just going to run rings around Synergy there and get away safely.
I wanted to remind Synergy that it's a gentleman's duel in the top lane, and he would prefer no interference as that tree and dinosaur, a gentleman, sorry, you know, what's the word? Yeah,
no, prehistoric yodel.
While those two dance the duel of death in the top lane, so.
Well, speaking of death, there could be some in the bottom lane as Jin Kazuragi gets caught, but Nesquik doesn't get the knock-up. He flashes in, but he was already out of his Boro form, and he's gonna be able to. Oh, up in the top lane. Artorias picks up the solo kill, but Synergy is looking to trade it back. Can he land the javelin? That's the question. No, doesn't quite get neck. That's going to be the solo kill coming through from Artorias.
Yeah, and with the lane pushing in his favor, that's perfect for Artorias. He's going to go back with a nice bunch of gold. Oh, actually, he's going to stay in lane. This is risky from Artorias, but Synergy has backed away. It does look like he's just trying to get the lane in a little bit of a better position so that he can come back later on. Oh, actually, I'm not entirely sure what Artorias has decided to do. Never mind. We'll forget the top lane. Well played by Artorias to pick up a kill up there. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, we can see that was a very nice gank from Nesquik, but just as he flashed, Jin manages to flash at exactly the same time. They do get both the summoners out of Jin, but they also get both summoners out of Exabyte, so we will have to see if they continue that pressure onto Jin with both of his summoner spells down.
We'll have to see, and I mean, this is where that lack of health potion really comes in. Obviously, Jokerism also not having a pot at this stage, but basically when you get to a low HP bar at this point, you are going to be forced back to base and possibly can fall behind in CS. We'll have to see though as Nesquik heads up towards this top lane. Chin could be in trouble. This could be his second death of the game as he gets knocked up. The hyper stacks are going to be giving Artorias a lot of movement speed, but his Mega Gnar is still not going to be available, so cannot quite close that one out.
Yeah, he does have a level advantage, so Nesquik might be looking to move around for the tower dive, but Synergy does spot them out. He has come reactively to prevent the dive coming into Artorias. Meanwhile, we will see whether or not... Oh, Nesquik is coming back for Synergy.
He certainly is. I don't think Synergy should be... Well, he shouldn't be caught up by that. He did know they were there. He's going to be able to walk away from that one with relative ease. Obviously, when everybody knows they're all there, it's not very often that the fight kicks off. But we are just going to see pretty much even Stevens across the map. Obviously, that kill in the pocket of Artorias is going to give him a significant advantage. And actually, if you take a look at the bottom lane, a huge CS advantage being picked up by Jokerism.
Yeah, definitely the case. It does seem that that early gank from Nesquik has given them a nice advantage in the bottom lane. But I like what you said about the pockets, because Gentleman Nard does, in fact, have quite wonderful pockets.
He has a watch for them as well.
Yeah, so I definitely like that subtle pun there. Very good job. See how many of them we can fit into the cast. But meanwhile, in the mid lane, we can see Ped doing a fantastic job of just farming away exactly as he wants the lane to go. He does. Loza is level 6 now, so the risk of aggression is fairly big, but he does have the cleanse, meaning that he should be fairly safe if any aggression decides to come out onto that middle lane. So, going well for Ped so far.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I mean, even in CS, even in gold probably, the needlessly large rod has come out for Loza, so maybe we'll look to be a little bit more aggressive, but Synergy is heading down towards this bottom lane. Exabyte using that Shadow Dash, but he gets caught up by the spear and he's going to get taken down from Jin, but the magical journey comes through and everybody sails their way to safety, and this is what the Bard pick is all about.
Yeah, we can see now Artorias looking to clear the vision in the tri-bush, but yeah, nice reactive TP from Artorias, unable to get anything, and they abuse the fact that Exabyte's flash is down and able to pick up their first kill of this game. So that's now going to equalize the gold fairly well. Yeah. And bot lane, well, the game is just going to return to normal.
Perfect scenario for Chin as well. He's now going to be 10 CS ahead of his lane opponent. And really, just no worries in his mind. There's no teleport for Gnar. Obviously, it was used to get down to that bottom lane. So now, Jhin can just farm up in that top lane, push the minions underneath the tower, and pick up a little bit of an advantage for himself. And that's going to even out just about the gold that came through from that first blood.
Yeah, it is indeed. And something I just realized that after noticing that Artorias decided to rush the Hex Drinker as a fantastic item against magic damage based champions. They do actually have a very magic based team in the form of Bard, Ahri, Maokai and Nidalee. So nice pickup from there, and meanwhile that's going to mean that Ped has even more targets to ult onto. The fact that the top laner will have some AP means that his Ped's ult will still hit him fairly hard, so he's going to have to be a little bit careful when going near that tiny little wizard.
Certainly will, and looks like this second blue buff going to be given away to the mid laner. Synergy going to be taking this one for himself, so obviously wanting to try and catch up a little bit. Actually, no, he is going to save it for his
nice guy
for his mid laner. So Loza going to be able to grab that one. Going to be able to keep that mana up on the Ahri. Going to be able to just clear those waves with the Orb of Deception. It's going to be great for him in that mid lane as we see Nesquik. The farm alarm goes off as he heads over towards his blue buff. Would expect the same thing with Ped getting that one. We'll have to see after the break. Just kidding, but there is going to be a pause, unfortunately. A little bit of lag coming out of one of our players. So we'll just wait until that's fixed. We'll see if they're probably going to reset the modem, maybe. Maybe swap out the router.
Swap out the router.
Everybody has spare routers, right? I'm just talking.
Of course, yeah.
Well, I actually do have a spare router at the minute. I just got my new one sent over.
That's convenient.
I've got a spare one, so if anyone's looking for a router, give me a call. 20 quid. Free router for you. Well, I say free router, I just charge you 20 quid, so it's probably not free. But there we go. League of Legends later on. League of Legends.
Let's have a quick breakdown of the game so far. They are even in gold. 13.5k on the side of XL to 13.4k on the side of Gaming in Motion. No dragons have been taken so far. It does look like I did say that with Ped being a fairly weak early laner, it's not that surprising that they're not looking to contest any of these Drakes. But they are maintaining very solid vision around it so that in the event the Gaming Emotion decide that they want to go for the Drake themselves, they can, XL can respond accordingly. Fortunately, they have just resolved the lag, very efficient in their lag removal methods.
This is the advantages of having that spare router in this scenario. You don't even have to wait for it to restart.
Yeah, precisely.
You have the other one already plugged in. You just swap around the Ethernet cable and you're golden.
Exactly. So now that Ethernet, the router has been swapped over, they will look to get back onto the Rift and resume their gentlemanly dance.
I hope that actually did happen. I hope we did actually have a spare router ready.
I think it would be better not to confirm it.
The quick swap. I have no idea whether that's the case.
Let's just assume we're right. I think that's the best decision.
100%. We are definitely right on that one. We are going to see a bit of a battle going on as Ginseng gets caught up by the Shadow Dash. Going to be knocked up as well. The Magical Journey going to come through. He'll get the Cosmic Binding onto 2 and runs away with the speed up from the Caretaker Shrine along with that on the hunt. And Ginseng is just so good on this Bard.
He doesn't even have to burn any summoner spells. He just gets out like it's nothing. They do burn the heal from Jhin, Kisaragi. They do gain pressure, and as a result of gaining that pressure with On the Hunt down, they are going to move towards this dragon. Meanwhile, Ped's still hanging around the mid lane looking to keep pressure on, but I'm not sure if that's the best decision in this current scenario.
Oh, they're going for it. The Tempered Fate is going to deny the dragon straight away. Can Synergy steal it? The Smite, it gets reset. He doesn't have Smite. Can he get it? Synergy gets it. Nesquik is ignited. Can he escape from this one? No. Loza Spirit rushes over for the double kill. And XL, it's all falling apart. They shouldn't have gone for the dragon because Ginseng is on it on this Bard.
Yeah, I wonder why they decided to go for it when Smite was down. Very questionable decision making. You can see that the Tempered Fate immediately stops the Baron from going, but why does nobody smite it?
Nobody had Smite. Neither of them had Smite.
So Nesquik overcommits with no Smite. He should have immediately disengaged, but as a result, that's now double kill for the mid laner and Loza. And we saw how well he played last game, but it was not the best decision. I could definitely understand what they thought about. I mean, they forced back the bottom lane, but they waited too long. There was no support from Ped being that, this weak early Vigard that we've talked about so much, and he wasn't able to offer very much support. Meanwhile, Ari was just able to literally go straight through the Dragon Bit, avoid the zoning from Ped completely, and just pick himself up a nice, easy double kill. So now, Loza completing that Luden's Echo is going to be a massive threat in the middle lane. So we'll have to see what Gaming Emotion can do with this lead, now with the first Dragon taken on the game.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Loza's going to be able to be that devastating force on the Ari, obviously, with the DFG 2.0. Has a lot of burst damage going to be coming through if we can find those picks. Spirit Rush has just come off cooldown. Isn't going to have the Ignite available though, so a little bit less kill pressure than he would like to have. But obviously, Ped having that Athene's Unholy Grail is going to be pretty difficult to kill. A lot of magic resist on that item.
Yeah, also he still has his cleanse available, so even if the charm does land, I doubt he's going to lose his life as a result. And the fact that Loza had to go back means that Ped got a nice CS advantage in the middle lane. He's now stacking up nicely with his Q. He's got plus 84 on ability power bonus on that, so that does a fair amount of damage at this point, but he's still looking to stack up a little bit more. So we'll see how that works out for Ped coming into the mid and late stages of the game. Well, a bit of aggression in the bottom lane, but nothing exciting happening.
I don't know, mate. League of Legends is always exciting in my eyes. We are going to see a little bit of trading back and forth. Jokerism trying to do what he can with those phosphorus bombs. Has gained a little bit of a CS lead, heading towards the 20 CS mark there. A good job on that Corgi. However, he is a kill and an assist down. So gold-wise, we are going to see them just about even on those numbers.
Does look like Artorias is heading towards that frozen mallet. So he's looking to get the kite item before he gets the higher damage item. So interesting decision there from Artorias. Clearly something that he prefers to do. Either way, I can't say that either build path is wrong. Meanwhile, Synergy hanging around in the bottom half of the map, looking for a spear to land.
Chin could be in trouble here, as Artorias proves me wrong and jumps away.
Oh, but Loza is hanging around the bottom as well. They do have a pink in the try. I wonder if they're going to get spotted out.
They're looking for it. The Temper Fate is not going to land onto either of them. Exabyte shadow dashing away. Everything just missing all of it.
Meanwhile in the top lane,
Up in the top lane, Nesquik goes in onto Chin, but on that tanky tree, he's going to be able to walk away. Doesn't even have to use his flash. Nesquik, though, may well be looking to come around and go for a dive. The ward has immediately been placed there by Chin. He smells around. He's going to be relatively safe should that Rek'Sai decide to come back up towards this top lane. Could actually be in trouble anyway, though. Artorias getting a lot of damage now. One more boomerang might finish it. The flash comes out from Chin at the last second.
Artorias is nearby. Not Artorias, Nesquik.
Nesquik over there is in fact doing the blue buff. And we see Synergy and Loza. They know it's... No, they don't know it's happening. That's one of his own wards. It's going to be denied, and they're going to be pretty upset with that one. Loza, I'm sure, crying many tears at home now. But, well, I don't know that.
But you can see that Nesquik decided to rush the Sightstone, so he's decided definitely to... He used that opportunity, noticing that Synergy was about to get deep vision down inside the enemy jungle. Again, I've praised XL so many times for their use of vision control, and very nice from Nesquik to find that opportunity to get deep vision, and now they know exactly where Synergy is and can react accordingly.
Absolutely, the binding just falling short of hitting onto Jokerism. Not quite going to be able to lock down that enemy AD carry as he heads towards the Triforce. If you take a look at the gold, he can afford to pick up that item. So when he next heads back to base, we'll be able to get that huge power spike. Would not be surprised to see him go for that one just before this dragon spawns. In all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised to see him push out this wave and then head back to base.
It does seem that way. So I'm a little bit surprised coming out from the side of XL that I didn't realize that... Excuse me, I didn't realize that they had such a passive early game, but it does seem to be a trend, and I think that's a result of the style of player that Ped is. We have talked about how he does prefer these passive champions that prefer to scale into the mid and late game, and as a result it does seem like that the whole of XL just sort of slows down. They prefer waiting, buying their time, and waiting for an opportunity to get themselves an advantage in the game.
Yeah, Ginseng there in the bottom lane with a little bit of a misplay. Misses the binding onto Jokerism, which is going to allow him to head back to base and pick up that Triforce. Dragon going to be up in just 15 seconds. Ginseng trying to get some vision control of the area. Synergy going to come in and help him take that Scuttle Crab. They're going to look to clear away this pink ward as well. However, Ped and Nesquik are nearby. They could look to collapse, but with Loza around in that mid lane as well, I don't think it would be the wisest of moves for them. As we see both teams starting to group up around this Dragon Pit area. Nesquik now throwing down some wards. The TPs, as you say, are available for both top laners. This certainly could be a 5 versus 5. 5 versus 5 as they group up around the Dragon Pit.
Ultimate used in the top.
Oh, we do see the ult used actually. Artorias going very aggressive onto Jhin, but he's not going to be able to, in fact, actually loses out on that trade despite using
But he is going to get the tower.
Ultimate. He will be able to grab that tower. But without the Gnar ultimate, this team fight should go in favor of Gaming in Motion. They managed to get the tower, and the fight is going to kick off. Nesquik jumps in, gets the 4-man knockup, but he goes down for his trouble. As Synergy gets melted. Look at the damage. Jhin now onto the backline as Loza dashes in with the Spear Rush. Everybody on Exile getting incredibly low as Exabyte is going to be dropped by Jhin Kisaragi. Do they follow onto Artorias? No, they decide to back away. And it's a 2-for-2 jungler and support down for both teams. And is anybody going to go for this Dragon? It's pretty risky if they do.
Yeah, we should have a replay coming up on your screen of that really nice fight from both teams. This whole fight starts from an engage from Nesquik. You see On the Hunt pops, but Nesquik flashes in, gets a 4-man knockup, knocking the entire team of a Gaming in Motion in place, meaning that gives plenty of time for Ped to catch up and be able to lock them in his cage of death. That immediately starts the double kill. However, with Exabyte sitting on the front line, he's not as tanky as a Shen as he would like to be, and as a result, he falls for his troubles. Meanwhile, 2-for-2 overall, still a decent trade, and XL pick up their first Dragon of the game. So with the kills in favor of Gaming in Motion, they still are 1,000 gold behind. Meanwhile, with Ginseng caught out a little bit.
You say caught out. I don't think I've seen Ginseng caught out yet. Wherever he is, he seems to be able to get away with murder. And murder is certainly what he's going to be looking to try and achieve. Try to get onto Artorias there. Not quite going to be able to find it though. Nesquik deciding not to go for the dive, does just tunnel away towards that mid lane. As they know, Chin was heading down and Synergy was there. They decide that's not really a fight that they want to take underneath their tower. The gold is not far off even, only a 600 gold lead in favor of XL. The Dragons are even as well, so definitely don't want to be too over aggressive.
Definitely the case, but XL do have the tower advantage, which is pretty much where their gold lead is currently coming from. And where you do see Jokerism shoving the wave under the tower down in the bottom lane, while the rest of XL group up around the mid to try and contest this mid lane tower with Ped pretty strong right now. I don't think he's been back to buy yet. He is sitting on 1,800 gold, so I wonder what he's going to get first. Meanwhile, they are going to take away this mid tower. Jokerism in the bot.
He certainly is, and going for the 1v1. Jhin Kisaragi shouldn't win this fight, but will he be able to? Gets a nice boomerang blade, and the HP is just about even. Jokerism, obviously on the Corki, is very good early in those AD carry versus AD carry duels.
Yeah, so I just want to say, Jokerism went into that with no summoner spells. I don't know if he knew what summoner spells Jhin Kisaragi had. He just knew that he had the item power spike that he needed to win that 1v1, and he forces the flash out of Jhin. And I mean, that shows some real big cojones on that guy, because he just dived in without a care in the world. However, there was the possibility of even the ultimate from Exabyte and the teleport was down, so he just went balls to the wall. He went full on aggression in that bottom lane.
He certainly did. And fun fact of the day, actually, this is about the 19th fun fact of the day. The term "balls to the wall" does not actually refer to genitalia. It's the same as pedal to the metal, except for RAF pilots in World War II. The throttle looked like a set of balls, and they push it forward. So that's where "balls to the wall" comes from, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. If you're ever unsure about phrases like that, check out Wikipedia.
We are full of fun facts.
We certainly are. Factoids left, right, and centre. You're going to see everybody's centre as we see Artorias looking for the fight. He is going to get the Stand United onto him as he jumps forward. It's a two-man Gnar ultimate. The Tempered Fate is going to land onto Ped as Artorias walks away on 10 HP. Loza with the red buff ticking away is going to go down. The shutdown coming across, and it's a 2 for 2 so far. Nesquik going to be tanking up a lot of auto attacks though, and actually XL look to be maybe losing this fight despite the ones being engaged. Engaging. They're not game ready. As far as I'm aware.
Ped still has his ultimate available, but decides not to use it. I think he was hoping to use it on Jin Kisaragi, but he didn't get an opportunity to. So here, we can see Artorias, he does get caught out of position a little bit. They try to engage onto him, but the Shenot keeps him alive just for a little bit longer. Meanwhile, that ultimate locks up 2 massive damage dealers, followed up by the taunt. But this right here is what turned the fight around. Again, another Tempered Fate that saves the fight. It means that Loza doesn't get dropped immediately, enabling him to get another rotation of his spells off, which brings Exabyte down. So once Exabyte is down, they lose 2 of their big frontline tanks. And at this point, it turns out that Ped just can't. Ped and Jokerism just don't have the damage to be able to deal with the rest of the team. So nice turnaround play by Gaming in Motion. They are still behind 1,000 in gold. But again, it was just Ginseng with that Tempered Fate. Really well played to lock down on the correct target. So can't hype this guy up enough.
Really interestingly, we do see an incredibly early Void Staff coming out onto Loza. So really wanting to get that early damage down and try and negate some of the magic resist that you can see coming out all across the lineup of XL, with the Aegis being headed towards from XL.
Taunt onto Ginseng.
Oh, Ginseng in a bit of trouble. Well, I say he's in trouble. No, it's Ginseng. He's fine. I'm not even going to cast that. I know he's fine. This guy is just uncatchable, it seems. I say that. He's already died once, but, you know, whatever.
But he's still rocking a fantastic score. 2-1 and 5. Very well played from Ginseng all around. This is why his Bard was banned in the first game. Oh, I successfully said that. Good job. And but yeah, you can see why now it was a threat, but they decided that Victor was a bigger problem for them than that Bard might have been. Meanwhile, you can see that Loz is still having a fantastic game on Ares. 3-1 and 4. Behind a bit in CS against the Ped. But
same in the bottom lane as well.
Yeah, same in the bottom lane. XL clearly competent farmers. Meanwhile, we do see Jokerism sitting in the bush.
Uh-oh, Jin Kisaragi could be in trouble here. The Armor Shred is going to be coming through from the Gatling gun. Heal going to be used, and a nice spell shield to block the big one coming out from the Jokerism. Oh, he's just Jokerism now, isn't he? He used to be the Jokerism.
Yes, he did. He replaced the with XL.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
he used to be on team the.
You can see On the Hunt was popped for Jin Kisaragi, so that's going to be down if XL choose to force another fight soon, as well as that the heal was popped. So now Jokerism does have the summoner advantage in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, Exabyte sitting in the bush, ready to provide assistance if it is needed. Meanwhile, you can see the rest of them hanging around the dragon just as it's about to spawn, picking up the Scuttle Crab. And it does look like we're going to see a fight with this On the Hunt being down.
Looks like that might be the case. They're all starting to mill around this area. Chin does have teleport, but he's opting to walk down here. And by the looks of things, this dragon is just going to go
stun!
Synergy gets caught by the stun and he gets exploded, but Artorias decides that he wants to make this an even fight and trades his own life. The dragon gets caught by the Tempered Fate. Can they steal this one? Nesquik gets stunned, but it's going to go across to Jokerism, who picks it up with a rocket. The Twisted Advance follows Nesquik as he burrows through towards his teammates. Can they finish this one off? There's not much damage coming out from either of these teams, in all honesty. And it looks like Gaming in Motion are trying to disengage this one, throwing out so many skill shots, but they are trying to chase this one. XL want to keep this fight going.
Exabyte has flash.
Not going to be able to catch up. The Shadow Dash going to be used defensively, and they have to back away.
So here you will see the damage coming out from Ped. He manages to land the cage and boom! Takes out Synergy immediately. Artorias overextends just a little bit too much with no massively defensive stats from his build. He's only got a little bit of magic resist from the Hex Tech roll. Not the Hex Drinker, sorry. Meanwhile, the beautiful Tempered Fate does lock down onto the Drake and prevents that from being taken, but fortunately XL do manage to take that away. So after this point, both sides just disengaging. While all that's going on, Loza manages to pick up a kill into Ped in the mid.
He certainly did. That Spirit Rush was used, and that's going to secure them that middle lane tower. So nice play by Gaming in Motion in the bottom lane. Jokerism looking for Synergy. Is he going to be able to find it? No. Has no mana. Gets caught by the Chilling Smite. And that is going to mean that the Cougar is safe to fight another day, unless he goes very aggressively for that farm. But again, Jokerism, no mana, can't capitalize on that mistake.
But Razorbyte flanking round.
Yeah, Chin deciding to go for the 1v2 here. Not 100% sure that's the wisest move you've ever made. Decides to back away after getting hit in the face with a clock tower. Just going to be able to walk away from that one. Obviously, the Maokai, not really the target that XL are going to be wanting to engage a fight onto.
It does seem that way, so the fact that Ped fell in the middle lane has enabled Gaming in Motion to catch up a little bit. Now the gold is practically the same, and that Ari and Sivir are getting incredibly strong. Meanwhile, while Sivir does have 5 kills, you'd think that he'd be leaps and bounds ahead, but Jokerism is actually only 100 gold behind, and that's all thanks to his impressive farming in the bottom lane. So very good job by Jokerism to stay in the game regardless of that kill difference. The biggest goal difference is in that top lane, with Artorias bringing up a 1,500 gold lead. So definitely an interesting. Meanwhile, Tempered Fate does come out.
Tempered Fate is going to be used. Only lands into Artorias, and Gaming in Motion decide that they don't want to follow up on that. A nice little play there by Loza. Throws the Charm out in one direction, and then throws the Orb of Deception to hit the people that have tried to juke it, and ends up hitting 2 of them. So nice little mind game coming out from that pop star Ari. Clearly, the pop songs aren't the only hits that he's able to get.
Okay, so Ari has decided to head towards this Lich Bane. Now, we did see it yesterday, and we didn't comment on it, but I'm going to get the chance to comment on it now. I don't like Lich Bane on Ari. I feel like her rotation, while it definitely has gaps in order for you to use the Lich Bane proc, I feel like you don't need it on Ari. It's much better to just build flat damage and just rely on landing your skill shots. As long as that happens, then there shouldn't be a problem. You shouldn't need a Lich Bane on an Ari. It's not, I can't understand why you'd prefer to go Lich Bane rather than something like the Death Cap, like the Rylai's, that would offer a lot more for Ari's kit than a Lich Bane would.
I guess you get the little bit of increased burst damage with that proc, but I can certainly see where you're coming from, as Synergy does not see where the enemy is coming from. Gets caught there, having to flash away from that one. Now is XL taking control of the Baron pit. So Synergy's flash going to be down. That's the only cooldown burn from that little engage.
Look at all these wards.
Get away with his life.
You can see fantastic vision again. XL have moved their vision line up into the river. They don't quite have the lead that they had last game, so they can't move it into the enemy's half of the jungle just yet, but they can move it along the center half of the map. And you can see you've got wards coming out from 4 members of XL. You've got the greater stealth totem coming out from both Artorias and Ped, enabling them to both have 2 free wards every 3 minutes. So really nice pickup from them, and you've got a double sight stone. So loads of vision control available from the side of XL, and they're really using it. So look at all that vision, so impressive.
Yeah, definitely using that one. Interestingly, Synergy and Nesquik, both of them, or neither of them in fact, have upgraded their trinkets yet. So
shame on them.
Yeah. They're not going to get an S+ at this rate, so we'll have to see how soon they do go for those. The only 2, actually they're not the only 2 that haven't upgraded, neither of the AD carries, so...
that's understandable though.
Yeah, I can see that one a little bit more.
Upgrading it doesn't give that much benefit. It increases the range a little bit. Yeah, you do get a temporary ward which can be killed in 1 hit, so not the best, but still... They might upgrade it later on into the game when they've got a spare 250 gold lying around. Because AD carries don't need wards, do they?
No, that's very true. AD carries, that's not their job. Their job is to carry you. You're meant to protect them at all costs.
Exactly.
As an AD carry main, I'm an expert on the fact that we never, ever buy wards at any cost ever. Even if I'm full build with a sightstone, I still won't ward.
What are you doing with a sightstone at full build?
Just to prove my point in this specific conversation, mostly.
Okay.
But we
Meanwhile,
have
the dragon
18
is
seconds until the dragon comes off, as you were about to say.
Yes.
Before I rudely interrupted.
That's fine, my
there
friend.
is a pink ward in the bush. They're not going to get him. Or are they? Ginseng gets caught up by the knockup. Nesquik is going to get caught by the Tempered Fate. Exabyte in so much trouble. He goes down as Chin enters the fray. There's the Spirit Rush from Loza. The ultimate from Ped is not enough damage to finish off the Ninetale Fox, and Chin tanking up everyone on this front line. Ped escapes on such a low amount of HP, and Jokerism with their snipe picks up the kill onto Loza. It's a 1-for-1. Synergy trying to turn that into more, but XL going to be able to escape.
Artorias has ult.
Oh, Artorias goes in, gets the double now, and they're going to be able to sweep up this fight. Jokerism going so deep for this one. Can he finish anyone off? Jin Kisaragi is going to trade it back, and they're going to turn it into an absolute bloodfest. But it's going to be an ace and a 5-for-3 in favor of XL.
What was that fight? That was so crazy. It all starts off with Nesquik flashing in, getting the knock-up onto Ginseng, and then the Tempered Fate follows any more follow-up from Nesquik. Exabyte goes so deep, gets such a nice taunt, but there just isn't any follow-up. The rest of XL are so scared of this teleport coming in from Chin. Meanwhile, Chin sitting on the front line. Notice that Artorias still isn't even in full rage, so he's still trying to charge all of this up on the backline, doing his best to keep Jin zoned out of the backline. Meanwhile, Ped gets so incredibly low, but that cage does a really good job of preventing the rest of them from follow-up. Meanwhile, although this is Hackerim, Jokerism goes ham onto Loza, proves that he is the better sniper of the UK and picks himself up the kill. Meanwhile, the cage comes down, forces that Zhonya's out of synergy, and now Artorias, he's finally got his full rage bar, sees the targets in front of him, jumps onto the rest of Gaming in Motion, and locks up 2 against the wall. Meanwhile, we do see Jokerism, he burns his heel a little bit early, goes for the fight against Jin Kisaragi, and you can see he's so closely fighting with the very fancy footwork coming out from Jin. And meanwhile, Artorias and Nesquik able to pick up that last remaining fight and able to pick up the dragon as well. So now 3 dragons for XL. XL also XL then lead slightly further to a 2,000 or 1,000 gold lead now with the tower goal. Meanwhile, Synergy slightly out of position.
Oh, Ginseng, can he escape from this one? The Tempered Fate onto himself might be the key to this one. He is going to be able to walk away from this one. Artorias is going to have a full rage bar, gets the Gnar onto Synergy, and he's going to be able to finish that one off. In the meantime, Ginseng is going to be falling. Jin Kisaragi will follow him surely. Chin doing his best to protect that AD carry, but it's not going to happen as the double kill comes through for Jokerism, and Chin with a nice twisted advance dodges away from the wallop, but the stun from Ped is going to connect, and that's going to be the ace and the Baron for XL.
Yeah, they are going to pick the Baron up off of that one. That was a really nice. They had full vision of their half of the jungle. Hopefully we'll be able to get a replay up on your screen soon. But you will be able to see that what happened there was that they caught Ginseng out of position. We say, oh, did they really caught Ginseng out of position? Yes, they did, because the Tempered Fate came down onto himself and 2 of XL's tankiest members. So that kept them locked up perfectly in time for Artorias to flank around into the Baron pit and lock up Synergy and Loza on the back line. While all of that was going on, you have Jokerism constantly throwing damage down, picking up a kill onto Loza. You can see now 6, 1, and 4. So much damage coming out of him. Meanwhile, Exabyte steals the blue buff away.
Steal. What a hero.
But that fight so good for XL. They end up only losing 1 of their members. I believe it was Ped overall, but they managed to pick up a Baron and the tier 2. Oh no, they don't get the tier 2, sorry, my mistake, but they do get the blue buff as well. So now definitely XL in a very good position. Meanwhile, Artorias going on to Jin in the bottom lane.
Certainly is. That Frozen Mallet doing work, keeping him slowed down. But actually, this is a very close fight, but Artorias gets the Hyper Proc at the end to finish off that AD carry. And in the meantime, the rest of XL are looking to try and get on to Gaming in Motion's 4 remaining members. I don't know if they're going to be able to force the fight, but they should certainly be able to force this tower. With that Sivir down, there just isn't going to be the wave clear required to protect this objective. And in the meantime, Artorias pushing out in this bottom lane as well. Chin having to stay here to try and contend with the gentleman that is being such a nuisance for Gaming in Motion.
Yeah, so they are able to pick up that tier 2 tower in the middle lane. Decided to rotate round to the bottom lane. Jin Kurosagi still down, with Chin caught up in the cage from Ped.
With the mastery of mode there, just like I ain't scared of nothing. He's going to be the tower going down there. XL picking that one up for themselves. And now they're going to be able to steal away the red buff as well. So that's both buffs stolen away for XL. And this is starting to look shaky for Gaming in Motion. However, last game we saw a very similar gold lead at around this time. They were able to cling on for a very, very long time in the last game. We'll see if that's going to be the case for them this game, or whether XL will be able to close this one out with a little bit more finesse.
Unfortunately, they don't have the best siege in comp. I mean, with the cage from Ped, they definitely have that pick potential when sieging up for towers, and with Jokerism and the Sheen procs from the Trinity Force, definitely not impossible for them to take away these towers. However, I feel the best thing for them to do is continue with this split push. It works so well in all of their games where they just keep Artorias in a side lane, allow him to do his thing where he 1v1s his lane opponent, gets a nice advantage in that separate lane, and allows the rest of his team to force objectives around the rest of the map. You can see Exabyte now level 15, the same level as Synergy, the same level as Jin Kisaragi, and a higher level than Ginseng. So that Shen now definitely becoming a force to be reckoned with, and even though he's a support, he's definitely not somebody you can just flat out ignore.
No, absolutely. We're going to see now XL heading towards this mid lane, or at least clearing out those minions. And I don't know, it feels a little bit like XL aren't sure where to push with this advantage that they have. I mean, Baron isn't up for quite a while yet. Dragon is going to be up in 40 seconds, so maybe that is their next objective. They're already 3-1 in Dragons, so should they be able to get this fourth one, that is going to be absolutely massive for them, because it basically means that the next time the Dragon spawns, it has to be contested by Gaming in Motion. In the meantime, Artorias going for a dive in the top lane, taking a lot of damage versus Chin.
Yeah, meanwhile, something I just want to bring up, Head now has plus 215 stacks on his Q, so on top of the base damages that come from the Q, he's almost doing 900 damage when no resists are applied. So that's
to 2 targets as well.
Yeah, I believe that's 2 targets. So definitely, as I said, he scales very well into the late game, and with that Zhonya's completed now, the chances of him getting picked out of position are significantly lower. And we'll see now they're going to pick up this 4th dragon of the game. I wonder whether or not they're just going to wait for the Baron buff, perhaps force Gaming in Motion to come to them. That is definitely a possibility for XL, but I mean, Corki will start to fall off the later this game goes. They're definitely in a very good position right now, and Jokerism is extremely strong on this Corki, but the longer they leave it, the more at risk they put their team.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see if they can start to close this game out. As you say, the Corki will fall off. However, in that mid lane, the Veigar will infinitely scale. So
that's true.
I guess you could argue that they have, like you were mentioning in Champion Select, they have this similar effect that you have with a Nasus. The longer the game goes on, the more powerful you will get regardless of items. So we'll see if that's going to mean that they can pick this game up, or whether Gaming in Motion will be able to pull themselves back into the running. Certainly looking like XL at least have an edge here. They have a significant gold lead of just under 8,000 in their pockets as we head towards the 40-minute mark. Let's see if they can continue to snowball that, if they can take any of these objectives. Or the Gaming in Motion are going to have something to say. The charm not quite going to connect from Loza there, as we see XL head towards this top lane tier 2 tower. And they obviously do not want to go for a dive right now.
It does appear that way. Having a look around at the composition there. Something that I just wanted to mention that you brought up earlier is the fact that the later the game goes on, Ped will just get stronger. And while some people might think, oh, the problem with Veigar is he can only really drop his combo onto one person and then he's pretty much useless. However, the great thing about the most recent changes to Veigar is his Q actually only has a 3-second cooldown. So he can keep spamming that out in teamfights, meaning he's consistently doing damage throughout the teamfight. So yeah, he only has one big ultimate for a single target, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's only going to be able to kill one target. He's still going to be throwing out damage as the fights continue on. So he's definitely not going to be useless as the later game goes on. He's not going to be just that destroy one carry and then I've done my job. But he's definitely going to be able to take Loza out if Loza is not careful.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see if he's going to be able to go for that, if he's going to be able to land that ultimate onto Loza.
I just had a look at the damage. So the base damage coming out from Ped's ultimate is 1,500. That's the base, not including the ability power coming out from the opponent. And with 534 ability power onto Loza, I'm fairly certain that ultimate can one-shot Loza just with the ultimate.
Yeah, would not be surprised at all. No magic resist coming out from Loza either.
Oh,
would have expected
Merc
to
treads
see,
at the least, yeah.
Or possibly the Abyssal Scepter either. We did see that come out of Synergy. I wouldn't have been too surprised to see that. Specifically versus that Veigar. The magic resist certainly will help you out. But We'll see if he can land the Primordial Blast onto the right target. Nesquik is taking a huge amount of damage, though. The crits are coming through. They managed to get Ginseng to kick off this fight, though. And Jin, taking a huge amount of damage, has to back away. Artorias is looking to chase, though. Can he land that Frozen Mallet slow onto anyone? Does get onto Jin. They decide not to chase this one. They're happy with that 1-0 trade.
Yeah, they're going to dance around the Baron now. Look for gaining vision control, force the gaming emotion into a position that they do not want to be in. And with Exobyte still hanging around, or the Gnar coming out from Artorias.
Manages to get the slow onto Jin. Can they connect this one? Synergy trying to escape this one, has to flash. In the meantime, the Rek'Sai is going to be taken out by Loza, but is it going to be enough? Artorias, sorry, misses that Gnar ultimate, but Jin Kisaragi, it looks like your time is up, my friend, as he goes down. Jokerism takes that one. Nearly actually traded that one back. Synergy trying to get his base off. He does manage to get away. So close. And in the meantime, Loza gets taken incredibly low.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, because as my screen was just looking at Loza all that time, and it just completely, that's how much damage his ultimate did on its own. Absolutely crazy. But that whole fight started off with, we should have a replay coming up on your screen in just a little bit, but you could see the flash from Jokerism jumping straight onto Synergy. We talked about earlier how big his kahunas were, and we saw it once again here. You can see this fight, or actually we just have a replay of the damage coming out onto Loza. Absolutely insane coming out from Ped. So yeah, just a quick recap of that fight. It all started with Jin getting caught out by Ped's stun, and the follow-up taunt from Exobyte prevented him from using his Tempered Fate or anything else to assist in the team fight. Meanwhile, while that is all going on, Artorias builds up his Rage Bar. They re-engage the fight. They manage to pick up a kill. Oh, they don't actually pick up the kill onto Synergy. He does manage to just barely get away, but they do take out Jin Kisaragi, which is their most important target. They have taken away his flash now, which means it's going to be a lot harder for him to survive. Meanwhile, we do see Synergy trying to gain some vision. He's just going to push out the top wave and get the lanes pushing in their favor, ready to hang around this Baron pit.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see who is going to be able to grab that giant purple worm for themselves. Jin Kisaragi going to grab his red buff, so we'll have that slow, have that ability to kite a little bit better. We do see the Elixir of Wrath coming out on Jin Kisaragi as well, so he's going to be able to do that extra bit of damage. And obviously, on the grounds that you're doing decently in these fights, it pretty much has an infinite duration. You gain an extra minute for every kill and assist that you get while under its influence. So the one elixir that if you're playing well, you don't ever have to buy again.
Oh, I just realized that this is the 5th Drake for XL.
It certainly
they're
is.
not in a position to contest. This is going to be
Loza,
really bad from
get
emotion.
Get out of that mid lane and get over to the dragon pit, because the 5th dragon has been started off by XL. They're looking to try and end this game. The Tempered Fate comes through as everyone jumps over the wall towards the dragon pit. It's going to get taken, and the aspect of the dragon should mean that they win this team fight. It's 1-for-1 as the Gnar ultimate comes in onto 2. The rockets from Corki doing so much damage. Jokerism trying to finish them off. Artorias going to be off in the backline chasing onto Loza, but Jin should be going down here. Jokerism finishes that one off. In the meantime, Ginseng trying to escape, but Nesquik is not going to let that happen. He's looking to finish off the Bard, following through the magical journey, and he's looking to capitalize on the misposition of this support. He actually might end up going down here. Loza doesn't have any mana, though, and the Ignite is not going to be enough, but in the meantime, the Inhibitor is going to be going down.
Yeah, it does. I wonder if they're going to be looking to push towards the finish. There's a long death time is on the side of Gaming in Motion. They do have the Dragon Buff.
Jokerism! He auto-attacked a minion! No, he could have got that kill, but he just completely misplays. And Artorias is going to turn into Mega Gnar. This could be disastrous for Ginseng, but he can't get in range to use that ultimate. Ped does manage to get the kill with a Primordial Blast onto Loza, uses that Zhonya's to keep himself safe, and this is going to be the game. Ginseng goes down, and that is going to be a 2-0 in favor of XL Esports, using that aspect of the dragon perfectly.
Yeah, it does look that way. XL Esports are going to move on into the ESL Premiership, and we're going to have a replay of that final fight. You can see XL taking this dragon. They do their best to pull it out, and they quickly take it. It goes down so quickly, but the Tempered Fate locks in 3. But watch this cage come out from Ped. He protects his team so well. Synergy can't get in close enough to smite it away. Nesquik picks it up, and immediately Synergy gets dropped by Ped. And now the next big play from this is Artorias knocking in both Jin Kirasagi and Chin into the tower. That enables them to pick up the kill onto Jin, and now Artorias recognizes that the only threat left is Loza, so he does his best to keep Loza out of the fight as much as possible, while Jokerism and Ped do their best to clean up. You can see Jokerism going over the wall, doing his best to clean up the fight. They do pick up a kill onto Chin here, but with the massive number advantage that they do have, they manage to close out the game. So very well played by XL. As I said before, they are going to claim their spot in the ESL Premiership. While it was originally the last spot, we are actually going to have another game coming up for you after this one.
We certainly are. If you guys were watching from the start, you will have seen the third game between Gaming Emotion Black and Team Pariah. Unfortunately, due to a couple of rules, we are going to see a remake of that game, so we'll have to see when that one comes up. We are going to be jumping into that one after the break.
Yeah, just for those interested, it was in fact Rule 3.11.5.1 of the ESL Premiership rulebook.
That pesky
so
one.
For those that are interested, have a look over at the rulebook if you want a bit more detailed information on which exactly rule was broken. So make sure, teams, that if you are competing in the ESL Premiership, that you do give that rulebook a good little read, so that it does make our admin team job a little bit easier. So
certainly does. But we are going to be heading into a short break. Massive congratulations, of course, to XL Esports. They've made it into the UK Premiership for the second season running now. And we'll have to find out if Gaming Emotion can get one of their teams into the runnings, or whether Team Pariah will be able to take the third game in their series for a second time. We'll find out after the break.